Welcome to the case study where you will learn text analytics through a practical application. You will investigate whether restaurant firms' management discussion and analysis and market risk disclosures changed during the global pandemic. Before we cover the case overview and learn about the data that you will be using for this case, let's complete a crucial first step in any data analytics process, the construction of a series of file folders, which facilitates the identification of raw data and transformed data. Begin by creating a file folder on your local hard drive, most often your C drive. I created the file folder on my desktop so that I may locate it easily. Use the naming convention indicated by your instructor. I'm using the naming convention of my name, my group number, and the date. In this case, you will be examining two different disclosures. We want to keep these two different disclosures separate. Inside the main file folder, create a file folder for each disclosure type. One for the MD&A, labeled 10K7, and one for the market risk disclosure, labeled 10K7A. The numbers refer to the location within the 10K where each disclosure is found. Within each of these file folders, create a file folder for the raw data and a file folder for the transformed data. Save the raw data provided by your instructor into the appropriate raw data file folder on your local hard drive. Once you've transformed data, you will want to save it into the transformed data file. The output of this case is the sentiment scores. You will save this Excel file into the transformed data file folder. Now that we have the file folder set up, let's learn a bit more about the process you will be engaging in and the raw data that you have been provided with. The goal of this teaching case is to help you learn more about text analytics and its application in accounting. Specifically, by the end of this teaching case, you should understand how to create and analyze word clouds, topic modeling, and sentiment analysis. Since a significant portion of data is unstructured, developing skills to analyze unstructured data, such as text analytics, will aid you regardless of your chosen career path. Our case illustrates this by exposing you to a potential application of unstructured data analysis as it might be employed in accounting. The MD&A disclosures are of particular interest to investors and therefore accountants because the objective of the disclosure is to provide information about the quality and potential variability of a company's earnings and cash flow. This allows investors to ascertain the likelihood that past performance will be indicative of future performance. Since the SEC specifically discourages generic or boilerplate disclosures, the MD&A can be a particularly rich source of information. The importance of the information conveyed by the MD&A and risk disclosures increases during periods of rapidly changing business environments, such as those experienced by the restaurant industry during the global pandemic. Auditors are required to read the MD&A prior to financial statement issuance. Although reading the MD&A provides information, additional insights can be gathered using text analytics. For example, text analytics can be used to identify changes over time and differences across firms within the same time period. In this case, we will use analytics to see whether firms' MD&A disclosures change significantly from the pre-pandemic period of 2017 and 2018 to the pandemic period, largely in 2020, and during the recovery period in 2021. We extracted the MD&A and market risk disclosures from firms' 10Ks filed with the Securities Exchange Commission and placed these extracted portions of the 10Ks into individual text files. If you open one of these file folders, you will see that it contains just over 260 text files, one for each period for each firm. The naming convention of each file is SIC, company name, form, fiscal year, with a underscore being used as a delimiter between these pieces of information. This naming convention will be particularly useful as you work to transform the data. While you are likely familiar with most of the components of the naming convention, you may not be as familiar with the SIC code. The SIC code is a unique number assigned to a firm by the Securities Exchange Commission. Since the SIC code remains constant, even if a firm changes their name, the SIC code is a good way to identify all available observations for a firm. For example, Famous Dave's, which now owns over 100 different company owned restaurants, including Famous Dave's, Village Inn, Granite City, Real Urban Barbecue, and Clark Crew Barbecue, changed their name to Barbecue Holdings in 2019, but their SIC code remained the same. To get a better sense of the data that you will be processing, I used the SEC Edgar Company search to open the most recent 10K reported by McDonald's. I then located the Management Discussion and Analysis of Financial Condition and Results of Operation on page 8 of the 2021 disclosure. We can see that the MD&A disclosure includes both unstructured data. Here we see all of these narrative discussions that are provided by management. And it also includes structured data, as we can see here with the consolidated operating results. If you continue scrolling, you'll see that there is a vast amount of useful information provided in the MD&A disclosure. While many of your accounting classes focus on teaching you how to report data in structured formats via the balance sheet, income statement, and statement of cash flows, unstructured data helps provide important context to the numeric data contained in financial statements. Thus, text analytics can help provide a more complete picture of the financial position and performance of a firm during the fiscal period. Now that you understand the data you will work with and why text analytics might be useful for accountants, let's cover the overview of the data analytics process that you will engage in throughout this case. As you just saw, the raw data or text files are largely unstructured. So you will begin by transforming the raw data files so that they are ready for text analytics. Your instructor will provide additional guidance on what programs you will use for transforming the data, text analytics, and data visualization. In our series of videos, we demonstrate a low-code approach to data transformation and text analytics using Alteryx. Finally, you will export sentiment analysis so that you can create meaningful data visualizations, such as trend analysis. In our case, we will demonstrate this process using Power BI. We wish you all the best as you go through this case and look forward to helping you understand more about how you can conduct text analytics to gain meaningful information from both the MD&A and market risk disclosures.